All aboard the Admiral's aft, the adventurers await awesome assets at the lighthouse of Legradex. This week on the Hapless Heroes.
I'm lying a lot about my stories.
Hello and welcome to the Hapless Heroes podcast. My name is Dave and I will be your host and dungeon master for this evening. And we're going to start this evening as we start all other evenings because I have no better way to do it by introducing our cast, and I'm going to do it starting from eeny, meeny, miny, my left this time. And on my left, we have Phil as Hedrick the Entertainer.
Oh, hey there.
To his left, we have Mike as Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind.
I am the captain and I am the lord.
And to his left, we have John as our other lord, Jarrell the Light.
Off to sea again.
And to his left, we have Francesco as the fabulous Felix Fizzlebottom.
No titles, just plans.
Oh, is that title? Titles?
Titles.
You know, didn't intend that, can't even take credit for that. But thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, here come the puns.
Good, we're at sea, baby.
Yes, so where we last left off, we were afloating out on the grand old sea, heading south from the Tri-Nation Peninsula. Really walked myself into a tongue twister with that. But anyway, we're heading south past a lighthouse of some value on the way back to Ardwall.
Yeah, and if I recall correctly, the captain of this ship was saying, the captain of the Southwind, which is the name of this ship that we're on. I wrote down the captain's name.
Joseph Fraxomara. He's an admiral.
Admiral Joseph Axomara.
And
first name Joseph X, last name O'Mara?
No, let's see. I'll put it in Discord.
his executive officer, Jenny Kilo Riley.
Yes, the one that Felix is obviously best friends with, right? Or at least he thinks he is.
Mm-hmm.
One crit fail, and we have a new NPC star.
That's how it works.
We're just getting along so great.
There, I've got it in the green room in Discord because you know how things kind of lose something by being spoken.
Got it. First name Josephaxo, last name Mara. That is the most fantasy first name I have ever seen.
I know, right?
Admiral Josephaxo Mara. All right, well, Admiral Mara and his commander, Jenny Kill O'Reilly, are, I guess, running the ship, so to speak. And we are going to get some valuable assets, according to the Admiral.
Well, we're passing by a lighthouse that is, in and of itself, a valuable military asset.
So I see. Well, yes. So, we're chilling on a boat. It's great. It's awesome.
Yes. As if you were to look at a map of Telduria, you would see a archipelago of islands in between the Kingdom of the Sea Lords and that Tri-Nation Peninsula.
And just to remind our Discord listeners, this is actually pinned in our artwork channel. If anyone wanted to see the map, it's pretty cool.
Yes, and it was not at all an attempt for me to shoehorn the word archipelago into this evening.
And geographical features make sense to talk about.
Yes, and $50 words are never out of style. But if you see that one little island that's shaped like an arrow pointing to the southeast, it points at a little island there. right overlooking a few different straits and a great place for a lighthouse and an observatory and maybe whatever else sort of asset that it is, sort of sitting there out in the middle facing Blood Bay, helping the Kingdom of the Sea Lords keep their supremacy over the sea.
Cool.
And so we left off, and I believe it was somewhere in the afternoon, wasn't it?
11:30, I think.
Day.
No, I think we were in the actual afternoon. We were like at 1 in the actual afternoon.
Somewhere between 1 and 3. The number 3 stands out at me, but I don't know if that's actually right.
Oh, you're right, because we did briefly rest a little bit, like short rest on the boat.
There was a little bit of a rest on the boat, yes.
So yeah,
Maybe
3 in the actual afternoon.
Yeah, maybe because conflict was coming up, and maybe because I like faking people out into thinking that conflict might possibly be coming up, whether or not it isn't. But that entire thing was entirely nullified by the fact that, for the benefit of our audience, and you tell them what happened off camera, we leveled up to level 13.
Huzzah!
Yeah, with all the level-uppy fun that comes with it. So, yes. In the intervening time, we leveled up to level 13, and if we get any new cool features, well, you'll just find out when we use it then, won't you? But you're a very astute, eagle-eared audience who keeps track of these details in stunning detail, well beyond the detail I keep track of my own campaign in.
This is the truth.
So true.
So, in any event, we are heading to the southwest, back towards the Kingdom of the Sea Lords. We will eventually pass by that island, but that has not happened yet, as things in sea travel tend to take just the tiniest bit, and by tiniest bit, I mean excruciatingly more time than traveling by airship.
Yeah, it's okay. I feel like, we at least escaped, and we are on one of the most powerful naval vessels in the world, so I'm feeling comfortable.
Is the 11 o'clock shadow still following us?
I think we're following it.
You're both heading in the same direction, although the 11 o'clock shadow is definitely having to keep itself much slower to keep pace with a naval vessel. Now, none of you have heard from them, but I'm sure, it would make sense to have an
we had signaled them.
Dim absolutely going nuts, bristling at the restraint of having to go anything but incredibly fast and aggressive.
What happened to the people? Did they leave on a different ship?
They were like evacuated on multiple ships.
Yes, and looking over the gunnels into the water, you can see this small flotilla of civilian craft being escorted by this and several other, now that you're able to kind of get a good view from up above the water, as this ship has a pretty high beam to it. You can get a good look around and see, dotted amongst this large flotilla of civilian vessels of all shapes and sizes, a few other military craft of the Kingdom of the Sea Lords, many but not all flying the flag of Lady Southwind.
So I'm kind of using this time right now as we're traveling to think about what I'm going to explain to Chief Executive when he asks us where the Dr. Hines is.
He could not be reasoned with. He chose the greater good of saving the population that was near him, because he knew nobody was going to make it out unless he destroyed that sort of time.
I also want to, yeah, exactly, and I want to check in with our our two boys as well once we get ashore, to just kind of see how they're doing, because obviously their home was just destroyed, right? They had spent all this time trying to protect the people there, being just children, right? Doing a lot more than most people could achieve. And I just kind of want to maybe ask them what their feelings are and what they want to do, and just see if maybe at least they would be fine with an introduction to Chief Executive, but it would be their decision on what, if they wanted to just go and live their lives or contribute to the good fight.
Also, to be clear, Hines totally would have went with us. He had made that point that he just wanted us to save the civilians, and then he was down with leaving.
Yeah,
And
he
we
wanted
had-
us to. He asked us to rescue the children, though. So, like, they were obviously like he knows that they're important too, because I think that they possess skills and abilities that even we, as seasoned and powerful adventurers, could not even fathom of having.
Right. We just forgot to go back and get him.
I mean,
I don't know if we forgot or if like there was just a.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
lot going on.
define forgot. Like, it was more like, holy shit, we are in dire straits. It was. I guess we probably had time. Okay, in hindsight, we probably had time to check in on him.
Uh-huh.
In hindsight,
Dr. Hindsight.
That one I did intend. So I thank you.
And we also don't know what actually happened to him because
Nope, there
of
was just some crazy beam of light and explosion. If anything, he bought us time. We don't.
time.
We didn't see him die.
yeah, and the best part about weird science is that I don't have to explain anything.
Nope, and it's like Schrodinger's Dr. Hines at this point. He's both alive and dead until we can confirm and see his body. Which we may never see, ever. So, you know what? He's, to me, he's still alive.
Game of Thrones rules apply. Until you see a corpse, they're alive. Even if you see a corpse.
Even if you see a clearly dead guy, he made it. He could make it back.
It's not until you turn them over and look them right in the eyes, and their cold, dead eyes, do you know that it is
And
dead.
there are living corpses. So
And then they haven't, risen up from the ground again, right? Exactly, to make your life living hell, which is also entirely possible.
What were the boys' names again? Finn and Fletcher?
Yep.
I believe so. Yeah, Flynn and Fletcher.
No relation to Phineas Flynn and Ferb Fletcher at all.
None. Purely coincidental.
No, yeah, because I totally don't, rip off other IP shamelessly and frequently.
Never. This show is full of entirely original ideas.
Yes. So anyway, our ship is sailing to the southwest right now, and I've kind of gotten there a few times, but we move slowly, so it's fine because we really haven't gotten all that much further. Admiral Mara is strutting up and down the deck, very much like the peacock of a sea captain he is when there's nothing of any importance going on.
Is Quinn following him?
I wouldn't say following. I would say accompanying.
Uh-huh.
That's how I leave it. That's it. I'm accompanying him.
Does Quinn hide his admiration?
I'm
genuinely curious because you know that Felix is using this as ammunition later.
I think it's more like an opportunity. Like it's one of those moments where like you meet somebody that like is probably your superior, but you assume them to be your equal. And so I think he's more trying to just like bond with the guy. Not,
is that what they call it now? It's bonding. Okay.
Right. Like it's basically a pissing contest. Like I feel like Quinn is trying to like make himself at least equal to this admiral.
Listen, how you carry yourself is like half the battle right there. So you know what? Like, more power to you.
I mean,
that's the goal, isn't it? Yeah.
That's his attempt. I don't know if he's succeeding, but that is what he's trying to do.
Pretty kinky.
I mean, there's a sexual motivation there too. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, bondage, water sports.
Oh, I see where you're going.
Bondage.
So everything that I mentioned.
Bondage, not bonding. I see.
Yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Phil.
Well, right
now.
now,
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Admiral Mara is content walking up and down near the gunwale, inspecting things briefly, looking at them with ponderous glances. Yes. Sounding very astute and concerned. Whether he is or not is up to the viewer.
He's very performative, is what you're saying.
Yes, he's very performative and straight up weird.
If Hedrick could, he would like to gain an audience with the commander and gain some information. If
Commander Riley.
Jenny Riley, yes, Commander Riley.
Oh, she's a peach.
And truly, this is just a fascination of the profession, but he also wants to find out maybe a little bit more about the lighthouse, maybe a little bit more about the admiral.
All right.
Can she be found on deck, or is she stationed in an office?
It's a big ship.
Is not currently on deck.
Okay. I guess suppose I would go to the closest officer and ask, excuse me, officer, where might I find Commander Riley's office?
Wait, you mean you're willingly looking for her?
Sometimes.
I don't mean to sound offensive, but have you literally, actually, in real honest to God, real time, lost your mind? She'll kill you!
Well,
She'll kill me for being near you! And it's not just because it's you! She just kind of kills people for stuff.
You think there's any way maybe I could talk to her from a distance? Now, look, her and I, we got off...
Yeah, the semaphore flags and 2 or 3 ships worth of space.
Well, I mean...
that because she doesn't quite lead with cannons quite like she should. She's not a very good gunnery officer.
Okay. Well, now, see, we just got off on the wrong foot, and well, I'd just like to apologize.
Oh, just go in knowing what you're apologizing for. Anyway, she's probably near the Admiral's office quarters back there. She tends to do a lot of the actual running of the ship.
I bet you're right. Well, thanks for your help. Appreciate it. And if I survive, I'll buy you a beer.
If you survive, don't get my name near any of it.
Oh, no. Lips are sealed. Little birdie told me,
Right.
I missed that.
He looks... He just kind of squeezes on it. Right on. And his eyes are still slightly bugged out by the experience.
Okay.
Hedrick, maybe we can go together. I mean, she and I got off on a great start.
Yeah, I could probably use a little backup.
Right. I mean, I feel like we already have a great rapport. It should go much better if there's 2 of us.
Oh yeah, and you're great with questions.
Oh, so good.
All right, let's go see where she's at. Hey, how you do?
Okay, so the ship is laid out in roughly 4 decks. There's towards the aft of the ship. There's a raised area where some of the bridge and other similar quarters are, and that is probably your best bet for finding where the admirals and commanders' areas would be.
Signage. I mean, as far as just doors, or is there some sort of guard posted or anything like that?
There are.
Anything to indicate like that is where she'd be?
It's not quite as well labeled as it's sort of expected that if you're supposed to be on the ship, you would know your way around. But most ships are laid out in a very similar fashion. So if you were to head to where you think the bridge would be, it's more than likely there.
Quick question.
Answer.
Did the Admiral say we were actually stopping off at the lighthouse before we get to Ardwall? I feel like I recall that, but I want to make sure I'm remembering correctly because that's going to dictate the questions I have.
I don't recall him saying we were stopping off there, but I'm old memory
I
sucks.
thought it was mentioned that was his schedule. At least whether he was stopping or just headed in that direction.
He did definitely mention that we were headed past there.
Okay. But he mentioned the sweet assets. So I gotta believe there was intent besides just
to go there, yeah.
Yeah. So that's really where my question was going to lead. I want to see, he was kind of singing, rather manically to himself, and I wasn't sure whether that is normal behavior or abnormal behavior.
That's true. He was singing to himself at the end, wasn't he?
And
Yeah.
So what is at this lighthouse? And what assets are we securing? I feel like I've been conditioned to be suspicious of everyone's motives, even if they're friends.
Yes, that's how you stay alive.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go find out. Hedrick, you lead the way. I'll back you up, man.
Yeah, let's see if we can get some answers.
All right, so you two are heading back there. Jarrell, what are you doing?
He would probably still be kind of hanging out in his quarters and relaxing for the most part, unless they intentionally brought him along with them.
Of course. Jarrell always loves his downtime.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
at various points during the day, the camera is going to cut back to Jarrell with some, very elevator music going on, maybe a little bit of bossa nova going, little vignettes of maybe him getting his, getting his feet rubbed by a manservant or something like that.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask about that. Have his retainers made it aboard this ship as well, or are they on the airship?
I was curious too. I would definitely like them to be with me, but if they're stuck, so if Jarrell had a way to get to the airship, he'd probably be on the airship. So if he had a way to, for them to get to him would also be relatively difficult. So I'm sure he's probably more bumbling around trying to take care of himself. The rare occasion that has to happen.
Yeah, I actually like that even better, where it just zooms in on Jarrell failing to be able to properly take care of himself in his quarters.
Oh yeah, like he's trying to make a bubble bath and put in way too much bubble, because manservant usually does that.
Yes.
Manservant knows the proper ratio of
bubble to water.
Yeah, bubble to water. Yeah.
No, now it's just full on cheerful music.
Yeah,
this is going on.
Is dumping in like bottles of bubble.
Trying to imagine you have your armor, but you're used to having somebody place it on you and take it off of you. So as you're taking
trying to reach over and take that one strap off, and he can't reach it. He pulls something and
finding out that it actually is impossible to don and doff plate armor without a squire to assist.
Right.
Well, I mean, even after you get it off, you don't know what to do with it. So you have a bed and a dresser. You try stuffing a shoulder piece into a drawer and can't close the drawer.
This is beautiful imagery, and I'm so glad we've taken the time.
But I thought it was also mentioned there were 4 griffins topside.
There was Root, right?
Yes. There is a small griffin roost that has, I want to say, I said that there were 4 or 6 griffins, some number like that. I don't know.
Okay.
I think it was 4, but numbers.
It's half a dozen or less. It's probably 4. The image in my head flew by kind of quickly on that one.
I think I remember there being one for each of us, so I think I remember it being 4.
Yeah, I mean, I probably coincidenced it like that. I mean,
Of course, that's the first thing you thought of was like, well, there's one for each of us. Like, fuck everyone else on this ship, right? Those aren't even our Griffins, even though I guess technically we did do the work to make sure that Griffins could even be available to this alliance of the living that we've sort of helped forge.
Exactly.
And certainly, I think, as the heroes of Telduria, we have to make sure that the surrounding bodies of water are under the same security blanket. And if this admiral wields such a devastating vessel, we got to make sure it's in the right hands. And we can always just, I would think, if we have to, hitch a ride on the Griffins and give us a little lift up to the airship. And then the Griffins can
sure, it's in the right hands. Like,
I'm just saying.
The ones who are going to determine like naval policy for the Kingdom of the Sea.
Right.
Wait a second, though. Hedrick, that's a brilliant idea. Maybe we can even just get the commander's permission to just have the Griffins give us a ride up. We can reunite with our people. We don't have to worry about wasting the resources of our friends down here. And then, we just send the Griffins back. They know where to go hang out again. I mean, they're on this ship.
It's their roost.
Right. That's brilliant. I'm sure we can convince the commander to let us just, fly back to our ship. We don't have to be a bother to them anymore. I mean, I know that great, but we get along great, but I just feel like I don't want to wear out their generous hospitality.
I don't know. I kind of want to see that frickin' guy whack something in half with that huge axe. Did you see that thing?
That thing is pretty big, but I don't think he's going to be whacking anyone in half on this ship. Well, I mean, I hope not, right? We're all supposed to be friends here.
Well, I wonder what his plans are. Anyways.
Currently is nowhere to be found.
Decided to dive overboard and go save his business after all.
Oh, he's just not on the deck of the ship where...
I know, I'm speculating what the worst case scenario for that one is.
Oh no, he's around here somewhere. I kind of grew to like that character a little bit over the course of that episode. I'm not done with him yet.
Good.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So yes, the two of you are approaching the bridge area, which you would have to go up a broad flight of steps on the deck and enter a set of double doors on that end of the ship, which would take you into the bridge area.
Let's
I would
go.
knock on the door before I just enter.
That's a smart idea. The door is immediately answered by an officer.
Yes, excuse me, I'm looking for the Admiral. Not the Admiral, the Commander. Excuse me, I'm looking for the Commander.
Are you sure?
Wait, hold on. Is that the DM asking or the person asking?
Oh no, that's the person.
I know. I'm kidding. It was.
Yeah, no. This is exactly where the direction of the plot is.
I love when meta dialogue happens.
Yeah, when when the NPC says what the DM is thinking.
Yeah, when you want to insight check the DM.
This is warning number 2.
Universe warning. Like, you've kind of seen the relative stability of this person. Of course, people are going to act like this.
The writing's on the wall. We're just choosing to ignore it.
It's canon.
Yeah.
So yes, I am sure. Me and my associate, we're from the Omega Project, and we request a word with her.
We are the heroes of Telduria, and you have graciously let us aboard your ship. We just request the briefest of brief audiences with the commander.
Un poquito.
Okay, so mad scientists, and you've got an overinflated sense of self-worth. Yes, I think you'd need at least both of those to be crazy enough to attempt this. So anyway, yes, Commander Riley is back in the command quarters. It's just on the other side of the bridge there. If you kind of see where one level up the command seats are. If you just take this door on the level below that, he sort of points to some doors at the back of the bridge there that they don't look terribly like ornate or anything like that. They're just really plain doors that sort of faded into the background there. Both of those will take you. Either of those doors, they'll take you back into the command suite.
Hey, real quick, can you just give me like a short list of things I should absolutely not say in front of her?
It's kind of tough because, I mean, just about any word will do it. Sometimes breathing, any kind of words, the color red.
Perhaps
Existing.
Perhaps maybe something on the opposite end of the spectrum, like maybe perhaps something that may lift her spirits.
A fight.
Hedrick looks down at Felix.
Why are you looking at me, man?
Jarrell is filing his toes in the tub.
He's got a toe knife.
Right.
Of course he does. He's got knives for different jobs.
All of them are for grooming, though.
We don't talk about the poop knife.
All right,
man.
so I will enter through one of the lower doors around the back of the bridge.
I will follow Hedrick.
Both of those doors sort of entered into just a hallway that runs sort of parallel with the back there. And there's a single door on the other side in the center there. It just sort of looks like that sort of little, antechamber hallway there, outside of a couple of very generic naval-looking paintings of ships on the seas and a very stuffy-looking admiral in full regalia, the really stock standard stuff you would expect to see here in a stereotypical ship.
I did explain that they were highly refined pirates, so...
Yes. This is almost indistinguishable from, the English Navy of the days when the English Navy mattered.
Ayo, dig against the English Navy now!
Sorry to all our English listeners.
Yeah, if you really care about the Navy.
You know what I mean? Nobody depicts the English Navy in modern fiction. It's always, sometime in the 1700s when you get these romantic depictions of the English Navy lording it over the high seas over everyone. Where now it's just fucking boring Americans in metal boats. But anyway, evoking those sorts of images, which was what I was trying to do from the beginning, you enter other room in the back there, which looks like if you were to take a composite of every captain's, admiral's, and or pirate's quarters in every ship of that time period you can, except scaled it up times about 1.5. This room is at least a good 50 feet wide. It's the entire width of the ship here at the aft, so just a little bit narrower than it is at the middle of the ship, and a good 45 feet deep. This room is just too frigging much, and it is all one giant room with, a nice large conference table in the center and one of those desks at the back where a pirate captain would be stereotypically counting coins if one were into piracy, but here it's just laden with big parchmenty maps and a quill and a dagger stabbed into it, because they all have daggers stabbed into them. I don't know why naval people love doing this as much as army people. But on closer inspection, there's actually 4 different daggers stabbed into this, and also pacing around the room. Not the elephant in the room, but the angry naval officer in the room, Commander Riley, who, as soon as you open the door, her hand whips to the hilt of the sword on her left hip, and she glares angrily at the door. Oi! Who goes there?
Excuse me, Commander. It's Hedrick from the Heroes of Telduria and my associate Felix.
Hi, let's see you again.
Sorry to bother you. please, if it's all right, we'd just like a short word with you, and then we'll leave you to your work.
What could you possibly be coming into my quarters for?
Well, first off, I wanted to apologize upon such a rude introduction. That is my fault, and I humbly beseech your forgiveness. But secondly, I really would just like to get to know maybe a little bit about you and your command here with the Admiral.
First, quit trying to kiss me ass. Second, quit trying to kiss me ass. Good. Give me a good reason not to run you through right here.
Are you sure the Admiral's all right? Has anything been going on with him?
Oh, he's fine.
Oh my god.
Well taken care of.
I'm taking very good care of him.
You're not here, Quinn.
That's okay.
Boy, it's the best admiral he ever was, that is.
That's right. Oh, it seems like a stand-up fella. You don't get to a position like that without making some moves and wheeling some deals. Well, yeah, and also I wanted to ask you about this lighthouse here that we were approaching. I've never been to this bay with no name.
That's
good. Right. Oh, okay. We are the heroes of the continent and all, but I just thought maybe that came with some sort of leverage,
She
negotiation.
leans in real close, almost whispering in your ear. Do you know what classified means?
Well, sure. It takes a bit of class.
It means I get to run through if you open your mouth about it again.
All right.
There's no need for violence. Again, we're all on the same side here.
But there's never a need for violence, is there?
I just figured, it only hurts the world of the living for us to be fighting amongst ourselves.
But wants, on the other hand.
Yes, I see. But do wants really outweigh the fact that all of those things that you enjoy today could be gone tomorrow when the entire world may collapse and be run over by undead? And we can actually do something about it with all of our combined strength. Like, when's your strength?
You mean fights without limit?
Yeah.
You're not exactly dissuading me here.
I'm just saying we have a lot more to offer alive than we do if we were dead. We're friends. We should be friends. We're on the same side. We're in the good graces of the Sea Lords themselves.
We are. There's nothing to identify you. Sight unseen asking me about the classified lighthouse.
You'll have to excuse my friend. He spent a lot of time with the Cloud Giants recently, and I think maybe he's just forgotten some basic things. But I assure you, it was meant no harm. We really just wanted to make sure that the Admiral was doing okay. He seemed to be muttering to himself a little bit on deck, and we just wanted to make sure that he was doing okay. We also came to ask potentially for a small thing to help us get out of your hair so that we can avoid disrupting your operations any further. You run a tight ship. I know it's probably, just, 4 more mouths to feed here. So, I just wanted to see if, maybe we can negotiate something so we can get back to our vessel and you can continue to manage yours without our interruptions.
And I just want to kind of pause it here and shift to the outside, because I feel like we need to give Lord Captain Quinn Southwind a little bit of time in this episode here.
Yes. Some spotlight. Some exposition.
Yes.
I was giving you guys the spotlight
outside to keep the timeline at least more or less kind of synced up-ish.
Yeah, and he was also trying to steal the spotlight just a few moments before anyway, so you might as well just give it to him, or else he's just going to get more aggressive about it.
Yeah, it reminds me. I got sick yesterday. Well, and we hadn't really fed her at all. And when she got really hangry, she chomped a big bite right out of the back of Jamie's leg. I feel like that's what would happen if we didn't give Quinn the attention he wants.
Ow. Yeah. I do like a good. I do like a good thigh every once in a while.
Are you saying that Quinn is a temperamental cat?
I'm saying that if
I'm
you
not saying it.
if you treat him like a cat should be treated, he purrs like a kitten.
Uh-huh.
And will still viciously attack you.
And will still visually, yeah. Okay. So I'm just, I guess I'm trading war stories at this point with the Admiral. Would that make sense?
When you say war stories,
Mm-hmm. I'm lying a lot about my stories.
No, he's asking like what kind of war.
what context of war stories are we talking about here?
He just came out and said it, folks. He just came out and said it.
I mean, that's what he does. So I would say that he is regaling the Admiral with. Now I guess I'm trying to gauge, because I feel like Quinn would be good at this. Trying to gauge whether or not the Admiral even cares about his war stories. So I guess I'm kind of attempting to just kind of bring up the fact that we had just destroyed a bunch of Walking Dead, that we had saved all of these people, and that I was at the forefront of said rescue, which, in Quinn's mind is the truth. So I guess I'm just kind of testing out whether or not he is paying attention, caring.
Oh, he's lively and animated in this conversation. When you're talking about, what part are we kind of starting with on this one?
Well, I would say just the adventure of saving the boys from the town underground, and just really just saying I was the one that rescued them, and I was the one that had the plan to create the airship. And I lie. What do you want from me?
Yes.
I'm a storyteller.
You sound like these stories I've been reading recently.
They may be the ones that I wrote about my other adventures.
Your other adventures?
I have had many adventures.
Yes. I'm just looking for the best Matt Berry voice I can, and I'm not even sure I can do it well enough, but I'm really trying to hit it.
Am I noticing is Quinn reading? So he's reading into is the Admiral admiring him a little bit?
I mean, a little bit, but it's not just you. This guy is kind of almost outwardly, universally lecherous.
Okay.
It kind of sounds like
So I
Quinn's
guess-
looking for an insight roll on whether or not.
Yeah, I was wondering if I had to. I mean, if he's super obvious, then
Yeah,
there's
actually,
no reason for the
I
roll.
kind of like the insight roll on that one.
Which is funny that I was fishing for that, and I'm not very good at it. All right, so I rolled a 14. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, sorry, I didn't update that. I rolled a 15.
A 15. Oh, so this guy, you can kind of see he's got an almost universally wandering eye syndrome thing going, and he's very much like this with a lot of people he's talking to. But that said, that doesn't make it any less earnest. He really is that sort of lecherous towards everyone, but you're kind of front and center in his view, so you're getting a good chunk of it.
Cool. Yeah, like I think that I relate to him quite a bit. I think Quinn would relate to him. Like in the sense of like, Quinn does that all the time. Like he's always looking for the bigger and better thing, but he'll give the attention to what's in front of him at the time.
Yep, and there, you see a lot of that, not just in sort of his more primal sort of instincts, on display very plainly on his face, but even through his war stories, he's very rash and impulsive, but it always seems to work. Like when he's talking about war stories, they are very eye focused and eye centered, so it comes across very much as the same way as Quinn. But the center of all of them is decisive action on his part, and even almost beyond calculated levels of gambles that seem to work in every story he does tell.
So in a kind of a almost semi-flirtatious way, Quinn asks him, "So what are these assets that we are going to see at this lighthouse?"
Oh. Unfortunately, that's classified, and we can't tell you that sort of thing.
Oh, classified for even someone like me?
Yes, that's what classified means.
So there's no way that I can persuade him to...
But there are certain things that are sort of expected of me in my station.
But as a fellow officer of the sea, I could be of service to you in more than one way.
Oh my god.
I mean, I did say he was being flirtatious.
But is it persuasive?
I just feel like Dave is like trying to make me actually be flirtatious with him.
No, I think that was actually sort of a hard line in the sand. Where like, well, look, I can tell you a lot of stuff. I can be flirtatious on a lot of stuff, but listen, I can't tell you about this tower here. But I would like you to, instead of trying to just listen to me tell you about that, I want you to try to define that for yourself as a character. And I think the best way is just going to be to straight up roll this one out as an insight versus deception here.
Okay, so who's inciting and who's decepting?
You're making the insight. You're trying to glean this information.
Okay. So it's a contest roll?
Yeah, it's going to be insight. Yeah, whatever insight you're getting versus a deception on my end.
Yeah, my insight is not great. It is a 13.
The 13 still manages to beat a 9.
Oh. Okay, so what have I incited about these assets? Insight was not the right word. I think that's wrong. What have I gleaned from this conversation?
Let's see. I have the fact. I'm just trying to see how I want to get this one in here.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that Quinn's flirtatiousness has finally paid off in somewhat of a plot-driven way, rather than it just being him.
And it's all well and good that you can take an interest, and I can definitely see why you'd want to help. But the student, I can't believe the time. And he kind of gets the student and then cuts it off really suddenly.
Okay. What?
Just sort of swiftly deflects. And
if I've kept you from something, I certainly can escort you to where you need to be.
Oh no! Oh dear! Need to check with the bridge. And he starts heading back towards the bridge area of the ship with a bit of a quick step.
Conversations in the future.
Ah, but of course! Plenty more! All right, so we're going to cut back to, let's see, what's Jarl doing real quick?
Jarrell is currently trying to get his armor unstuck from the dresser drawer that he put too many things into. It seems like one of his, like the bracers for his boots are stuck underneath one of the frames, and he can't quite adjust it in the right way to get it to get his boot back. So he is currently bootless.
That's amazing.
So things have moved along. And we're back. We're back to the bridge here. And let's see. We cut off. What was the last question asked down here?
I was just asking the commander for a favor to get us out of their hair. Something I can ask of them so that we can let them just do what they need to do, and we can go go on our own merry way and not be in their way anymore. Knowing that other diplomacy is beginning to fail here, Felix is now thinking the best route is to just offer them an out so they don't have to deal with us anymore and no one gets shanked.
So what could this boon possibly be that you ask of us?
So I'm just asking for the briefest of briefest. Just need to hitch a ride on those griffins there that you seem to have gotten from our friends, the Cloud Giants, just up to our airship, and then we send the griffins back to your ship, and then we get off your ship, we go back to our ship, and then everyone is okay again and happy.
Well, I see. It's us without our griffins.
I mean, momentarily. We're just riding them up to our ship and then sending them right back here.
What's our assurance you'll do so?
We're all going to the same place. We're not going to just run off with your griffins. Where would we go? We are the heroes of Teldoria. Everyone knows who we are. We would never...
You won't. You lose cannons and everybody knows it, and you've got an airship.
Yeah, but we're both going to Ardwell, and we're on the same side. We're both fleeing the same thing. I really don't know how else to best explain the fact that we're on the same side, and my word is gold.
My attempt at introducing a sound effect there as there is a knock at the door of the bridge. Mom, I think you'll need to see this. And that's where I'm going to end our episode.
You bastard.
Yeah, I know. If you like us, you can find us on the internet.
I don't like you right now, though.
Yeah, I know. But you'll like it in another couple of minutes when I get back to it. At least you have to wait, what? A 5-minute hold. Everyone else has got to wait a week. That's who I'm
Stop ruining the magic of radio for them. Dave.
Oh, you can edit this out. You probably will.
I won't.
Good.
I want everyone to know that you just ruined their immersion. Not that we don't do that on a regular basis all the time.
You're gonna let them know that he ruined the immersion by ruining the immersion.
Yep.
Ruined her.
Ruined her. Yeah.
I have a special talent.
Also mangulated the language. So anyway, if you really want to see language get all kinds of fucked up, you can find us on the internet in such places as Reddit/r/Hapless Heroes Podcast. On Facebook, you can look for Hapless Heroes Podcast. You can also find us on both Twitter and Instagram at Hapless Heroes. All of those places will, on their own, give you great content, or at least some content. I think
Some content.
Got a little behind on, but I mean, it's really because all those places take you to the crown jewel of our internet presence, our Discord server, the place to meet, greet, interact with, mildly and gently and not too terribly taunt us, but mostly be part of a burgeoning, wonderful community of like-minded D&D enthusiasts and other, podcast enthusiasts and D&D podcast enthusiasts of our podcast have come together and sort of created a nice little community here. We'd love you to be part of it if you're not already. Now, if you really like us, though, you could leave us a 5-star review on the podcast service of your choice. And I shouldn't need to list all of them because, frankly, you're on a podcast service of your choice. You found this podcast somewhere or other, I'm assuming. On that podcast service, leave us a 5-star review, any kind of review. If we can find it, we will read it on the air, and, then we can rate you as a 5-star human being.
Yeah, and I'm going to do that to one particular listener right now. Because Timmy500 just left us a review on iTunes. saying he's like, one of the best, sadly, I've caught up. He said he started listening when there were only 40 episodes, and he said, by God, the audio quality even back then was spectacular. I don't want to disagree with you, Timmy 500, but I will say that the first, 15 or so episodes, maybe a little more of this podcast, were definitely not great audio quality. I think we did our best to rig up whatever fucking microphones we possibly could to whatever janky setup we could, which we went through a couple at that time. But I still appreciate you saying that, because that makes my heart happy. Also say, can't wait to see what these magnificent people come up with, which you're magnificent, Timmy 500. I mean, really, we're just a bunch of dudes playing D&D. But you, with those special words, you are a 5-star human, Timmy 500.
Yeah,
It's a 500 star. 500 star Timmy.
Yeah.
You're like 500 stars on the internet. Now, if you really, really like us, though, you could donate to our Patreon. Patreon.com/haplessheroes. That's it, right?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. I'm not the guy who runs the Patreon, it's him, so obviously he would know the page
That's
better
me.
than I would. But there are numerous different levels of good stuff you could get for donating. Least of all, or maybe most of all, depending on how you view it, being the warm and fuzzy feeling you get for, donating to our Patreon at whatever level it is. Even if it's just a little bit, just to, just to show your appreciation. If you do, we very much appreciate it. And even if, you're not of the means to do so, we still appreciate you as fans.
Yeah, we've even taken some of those donations and actually just put them right downstream into the other world of creators for like RPG elements and things like that. Like, the guy we reference all the time in our show notes, I've thanked him multiple times in this show, Tim, Tabletop Audio. We've been donating to his Patreon. So we just take some of that money you give to us and give a little bit back to him for letting us use all these amazing sound effects and ambiences that I'm constantly inserting into these episodes. Like, he's really just an incredible composer, and I can't say enough good things about him. So we decided to, do our part to give back to other creators in this community as well.
And if you love us, I mean really love us, Sally Field and the whole deal, join an improv class. Personify your favorite hapless hero. Shamelessly quote your favorite scenes. And when everyone praises you for your creative genius, distribute Edison bulbs to each of the class members. Because some people thought Edison was a humble guy, but he wasn't. He was a shameless self-promoter. And tell everyone they too can be an improv phenom if they listen to the Hapless Heroes every week.
Perfect.
For the rest
That'll
of their
work.
lives.
Guaranteed.
Forever.
Anyway, that wraps up our episode of the Hapless Heroes podcast. Let's finish up by outroing our cast. Let's see, starting from my right is the fabulous Felix Fizzlebottom. We have Francesco.
Ta-ta for now.
To his right is Lord Jarrell the Light. We have John.
Hey, I think I broke this dresser.
To his right, we have Lord and Captain Quinn Southwind, played by Mike.
What an astute, amazing admiral.
And to his right, we have Hedrick the Entertainer, played by Phil.
I think this commander's more chip than shoulder.
And my name is Dave, and I've been your host and Dungeon Master. And to round this out, I would like to apologize to the English Navy for any slights that may have been against them, and to the entire peoples of the British Isles for every manipulation of any accent that may have come from your homeland. I mean, no disrespect, I'm just legitimately bad at this. Goodbye now.
Bye.
Bon voyage.
I'm not
Goodbye.
sorry.
Goodbye.
Sorry, not sorry.